Have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but you don't even know if it's enough to live off of. How much is enough? And how often do you think about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies, doing the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident with your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website or give us a call at 860-430-5397.
So, Jess, why did you become a realtor?
I worked in various customer service jobs, so I wanted something a little bit more rewarding. Becoming a real estate agent, being able to help people find their forever homes or their investment homes, starter homes. It's very exciting, so a lot of fun.
Now, you've gotten off to a really good start in your real estate career. What has been the most rewarding part of this for you so far?
Helping people, especially like first-time home buyers, finding their first home. They're so excited. I'm so excited to help them. So it's a nice, rewarding part.
What is it that you think makes you different than other real estate agents?
I think that my various roles in customer service has helped me. So I like to ask a lot of questions and I want to know what I'm doing. So I think that helps a lot because I'm not going to steer people the wrong way. I'm going to make sure they have knowledgeable decisions and help them find the right home.
Last thing I'm going to ask you is, and I know these are words that you live by, but the mantra at CTBB Realty is?
People over paychecks and do the damn thing.
And that's what we do.
Throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clovercrest, top three corner man, punching in with a puncher's chance. We find a way to win. The main event, locked it in every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut, got you missing weight, feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move, bob and weave. Don't lose hope against the ropes, there's always an escape. Never stay down. One more round, bells ringing, counter punch with your chin tucked and go down swinging. We bringing crosses with no worship, hooks with no verses, combinations with no locks. When you feel the flurry of curtains, from scrub scraps to fight stats, relax if you want the facts, cause the best combat podcast is throwing jabs.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Throwing Jabs. We got a big UFC card this weekend. Big pay-per-view. But we still, and we got a great Who You Got. But first, we got to recap what happened last week. Calvin Kattar takes a unanimous dominant win. Oh, my.
Yeah, listen, this was just a great performance from Kattar. Dictated the pace. The jab setting up all the strikes, the elbows, the uppercuts, walked Chikadze down for all 5 rounds. Stayed within distance to negate those ninja kicks. I mean, just an outstanding performance. But I gotta say this. He's still not beating Holloway or Volkanovski, so that's still a huge problem for him. Volkanovski also pointed out quite well, I'll say that when, Giga can't kick, he's a punching bag. And we saw that literally for 5 rounds. So that's a real problem in his game. And again, Jace, why later on when we talk about the big heavyweight fight tonight, if you can't fight on the ground in the UFC, you're not going to beat the top guys in your division. You just won't be able to do it. His inability to take Kattar to the ground to slow things down while he was getting his face smashed in 446 times, He would die if he had fought Volkanovski or Holloway last weekend. His face would be destroyed. He would have been pulverized. He would have been finished too. I tell you that. Either one of those guys would have easily finished him. I'm glad Cater didn't. I like that he just beat his brains in the whole entire time. He really, I think, took all the hype out of this guy. I was his corner gave great
Exposed?
advice, Jared. His corner was telling him everything he needed to do to win round after round, and he couldn't do it.
Pressure. Too much pressure. Got to him. He didn't have room to do any of the things he wanted to do. I thought with his boxing background, he'd be able to get a little bit of spacing and do more. And this fight didn't make me think a lot of different things about Calvin Kattar. Gige's not as good as I thought he was. And Holloway's better than I thought he was. If this is what that guy that Holloway did that to does to the next guy on the list, oh boy, this says more about Max Holloway than it does about Calvin Kattar to me.
The gap 1 and 2 and everyone else in this division, Jared, it's not even close. Not even close. That might be the biggest gap in the sport.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's yeah, I mean,
Huge disparity.
yeah, like Cater might get a title shot maybe now, because there is nothing else. Like you need something, right?
I think this guy should fight Yair Rodriguez next. I think that's the right fight for him. I think Yair's
Or him
third.
against Ortega. I think that would be.
Or Ortega,
Interesting.
again, because I think if he fights one of those two
Not allowed to
guys,
say Ortega anymore.
yeah, that's hilarious. But I think you would get look, I think those two guys could give him the fight we thought Chikadze was going to give him. And and again, this is the problem. And I think we're going to address this again in the future when we're talking about Chimaev and some of these other up-and-comers, even my guy Prohaska. You haven't beaten anybody yet. So what happens when you get in the ring with a real top 5 guy? And for Chikadze, he got blown out. That was embarrassing. He couldn't do anything. After the first 30 seconds, it was clear he wasn't going to win the fight. The first 30 seconds, he looked good, and then the pressure just came, and he had no answers. A guy with a high ring IQ doesn't get beat this badly.
No.
You figure things out, and you either couldn't figure things out. Again, your corner was telling you, but I just watched this fight again this morning. Okay? They literally were telling him what he needed to do, and he still couldn't get it done. He still couldn't do it. This fight was still completely dictated by Cater. And again, from the first 30 seconds on, that was it.
Can
he was out of
Gaethje
it.
come up and fight him? Inside that weight class, though, this as like I've done a lot of matchmaking through Scrub Scraps, and when I see Kattar fight, it's like, oh, here's an opportunity. So maybe it's not the next right step for his career, but I think Barbosa's a great fight for Cater.
Ooh, I like that.
I'd like to see him fight Barbosa. Give me that straightforward pressure and walk straight into those spinning elbows and do all that stuff you were doing. And let's see what happens. That would be fun. Barbosa, Cater.
Yeah. But, I mean, that is weird with this division. Like, you don't want to see anyone else fight for the belt. Who else would challenge Volkanovski right now? Holloway again. That would be, like, the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's fighting the Korean Zombie in his next fight, which I think is going to be super fun for the fans. I think we can all kind of get behind that. And then that'll be that.
Yeah. So
that's it. Yeah, that'll be a fun fan fight, but nothing's coming of that for the, I mean, it'll be tough to see the Zombie take a beat down again, but he's always down for that.
Yeah, but I mean, that division's just rough right now. I mean, you got the two at top, and everyone else is just
Be thankful that you
taking the
have
scraps.
two elite guys at the top,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
at least you can, you know what I mean? As opposed to one guy dominating it, at least there's two. So, you know, every couple of months you can get out there in your division. It gets highlighted with excellence. That's
You're right.
nice.
Yeah.
That's a benefit. But again, yeah, right now even I was kind of scanning through the rankings this morning. Nobody on that list is going with those two.
No, that's like the only
There's
division.
just nobody there.
That and like maybe like the women's divisions, like there's no like real like up and comer.
That made me sad to watch that because I thought Chigadze might be the answer to that question.
Yeah.
And
that's what we were kind of hoping for.
Yeah, you look at the rest of that list, it's just not there.
No.
Leave it to my brother, and of course, to bring up Robinson and LaMotta anywhere he can. I kid. Yeah, again, I you know, we got a trilogy tonight, a back-to-back-to-back trilogy with two guys at the top of a division. And I know, you know, maybe people are kind of tired of seeing the same guys fight. You know, Stipe and Cormier. That's all you. Well, who else? Who's better than them? Yeah. That's how this works.
Get another guy.
Yeah, I mean, step in if you think you can do it. But, you know, then again, right? Chikadze seemed to be the best hope. He got thoroughly dominated by a guy who got dominated by the number 2 guy.
It's literally the best we had to throw at it.
Yeah, but
I'd have been close.
Yeah, we'll see. But
I'm pretty sure this is booked. Volkanovski Zombie. I'm almost certain that that's locked in.
Yeah, but we'll see. Let's take a break because we got a lot more UFC to talk about coming up to preview tonight.
I will say this. We did just talk about the best boxing that we're going to talk about on this show. That's sad. We're talking about a boxing match next.
Yep. Joe Smith Jr. KOs Steve Gifford in the 9th round. And then rumblings that he wants your boy Jared Beterbiev next, Joe Smith Jr.
Never.
You're muted, brother.
No, he doesn't. This is a sparring partner for Beterbiev that took him 9 rounds to get out of there. And hey, I sent a message to both Tony and Joe that said, don't be surprised if Joe Smith Jr. isn't the best boxer in the ring here. He wasn't. He was outboxed as far as boxing and class goes. Joe Smith Jr. is just not as good as that. So how are you going to get a guy with better technique, better pedigree, better amateur career, better professional career, stronger? He's going to walk him down and smash him. And Canelo doesn't want to fight either one of these guys for some reason. Like these are some of the guys at the top. He's steering clear of them. Usyk will come down and kick his ass too. I'm tired of Canelo. Joe Smith Jr. can't box as well as he should be able to for the position he has in that division.
Joe Smith Jr. is very strong, and he hits hard. However, I'm so unimpressed by this guy. He's got a very ineffective jab. It's mostly pawing. We literally, tell me if this isn't the fight, 7 rounds of Smith trying to punch through the high guard and really not inflicting much damage. A little bit later, he threw some body shots. Mostly, though, you watched him punch Gaffard's gloves in his arms. I think twice he slipped a right in through the guard. That was it. He overswung a lot. And Gaffard, who was a better boxer in that ring, no doubt, didn't take advantage. You know who would take advantage of that? Yeah, Beterbiev, Bivol, Canelo, anybody worth their weight in the ring would have knocked Joe Smith out. I want to say it was the 3rd round where he lost his balance completely. If Gaffard would have counter left there, Smith would have been out cold, and we'd be talking about one of the biggest upsets in the sport. If he's fighting any of the three guys I just mentioned, he gets knocked out in the third round there. He would have been out cold. Okay? His inability to set things up and to just come at you and, again, a pawing left, and then I'm going to throw the overhand. That works against somebody who's afraid of you. It works great against a guy who's afraid of you. That's not going to work against beyond those three. I would say there's this is not a good style of fighting. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm sitting there watching this fight and I'm thinking, dude, body, just hit him in the body. What are you doing? Giving you the body to hit him. And then when he did him in the body, he hit him below the belt. Because he's not good at this.
Yeah.
He should go back to construction work. Let them write a movie about himself. Maybe get a reality show. But before he gets hurt against somebody good, just stop.
Honestly, he is a fake champion just because Canelo moves, which is...
Bamo. Dude, with all these divisions and belts and supers and dupers and all that other stuff, this guy shouldn't have a title.
No.
It's silly.
But he does. He reminds me a little bit of Deontay Wilder, just without the length and the insane power. But
a little bit. I could see that.
Yeah. So everything that makes Deontay Wilder good, he doesn't have.
I think he lacks the speed of Deontay Wilder. I think that's definitely... Okay. Maybe the major difference and would be the difference in the punching power.
This is a bigger Tevin Farmer. They built this not in his boxing style, but they built this guy up to fight the better guys. Canelo, Beterbiev, Usyk, these guys aren't fighting each other. And hey, let's feed Joe Smith 4 or 5 guys and make him look like somebody worth fighting. Beterbiev will smash this guy. Canelo will walk down and smash this guy. Joe Smith is not in that same category, and those guys that would smash him need to start fighting each other. Bivol, Canelo, Joseph, these guys are in trouble. They end up in the ring with Beterbiev. This guy is another class of fighter, I promise you. Keep watching Artur Beterbiev. He's the real deal. That's as good as they get in the game right now. Might be the strongest man pound for pound in boxing. They don't want to fight him, and I don't blame him. I don't want to fight him either.
With that, I honestly could see Canelo fighting Joe Smith Jr. before Beterbiev.
Yeah,
I would.
Wouldn't you?
I would. I totally would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
makes the most sense.
All right.
Dude, again, I don't think he would last very long in a ring with Canelo.
No.
Because of Canelo's great ability to not get punched and his amazing counterpunching. That is like that's Joe Smith's worst nightmare. What I just described.
What's his name?
Right, a counterpuncher doesn't get hit. That's a big problem for me.
Who'd Canelo got the Billy Joe Saunders? Saunders a better boxer than Joe Smith. He did better against Canelo than Joe Smith will. Well, I don't understand why we're building this guy. I do understand it, but
I'm posting this comment from Tony because this is something somebody might have yelled during a LaMotta Robinson fight. He says instead of calling out Beterbiev, he says he deserves a shot at Canelo. What a tomato can. Thank you for that, Tony. That was amazing. I got to say that today.
What a tomato
he
can.
is a tomato can. That is a good description. I like Joe Smith Jr. He's fun. He's Jake Paul with actual training.
Oh. All right. I like that. But I will say they aren't going to be making any movies about Joe Smith Jr. I'll tell you that for sure. Speaking of movies, let's get into the Who You Got combat sports athlete movie. If you were to write and direct a movie telling the story of a combat sports athlete, past or present, who would you pick to make that movie about, Joe?
This is so easy. One of my all-time favorites. His name is Mike Tyson. This is an amazing feel-good story. A black teenager adopted by custom model, becomes the youngest champion ever, most feared man on the planet, pay-per-views. He's got the video game, the beautiful actress wife. That could have been a movie, just that. You could make that a movie. That could be the whole thing, but we'll go on. It'll be a tragedy instead. You'll add in Don King, you'll add in Desiree Washington, Buster Douglas, and Evander Holyfield, prison, face tattoos, some bankruptcy. You toss in Danny Williams and Kevin McBride, but you want to end this strong, make it a feel-good movie again, so you get The Hangover, a podcast, a fight with Roy Jones in your 50s, and you're loved again. What an amazing story. I can't believe anybody hasn't made that movie yet. The best part is Mike Tyson could star in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I think Jamie Foxx is working on a Mike Tyson movie.
Somebody should. There should be a Mike Tyson movie. This is amazing what has happened with that guy. Do you remember? Do you remember after Holyfield in prison where it was like, he's done. Mike Tyson's finished.
Yeah.
And then he came back, didn't go well. And then he lost a whole bunch at the end. 3 of his last 4 of his last 5. Bye. Now everybody loves Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
How did that happen? That is the greatest story in the history of sports and possibly the greatest story in United States history.
We still dance to R. Kelly jams.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Ignition.
But only because I can separate the music from the person. I accept Mike Tyson wholeheartedly. I was going to make a joke and say I don't believe Desiree Washington, but I won't go there. I do, and I believe evidence. But anyway, it's an amazing story. I don't know why we haven't seen this yet.
Sounds like you did your own research. All right, I got one. Mine again, dude, easy. It was easy for me too. Came right into my head. A guy named Edison Miranda. Now, Edison Miranda grew up poverty. He was born into poverty, and mother left. Never knew who his father was. Mother disappeared. This guy's homeless. He starts making the trek toward where he thinks his mother is. This is across like 3 or 4 countries at 9 or 8, 9, 10 years old. He's walking across countries as a little kid to try to find his mom. And he ends up finding her. He's got a system for finding out if roadkill's been there too long to eat. That's how things were for Edison Miranda as a child, less than 10 years old. And he's got a system for figuring out if he can eat the roadkill or not. He finds his mom. She's remarried. She's got a new man that doesn't want him there. So after traveling on foot across 3 countries as a little kid, his mom put him back on the street again. He wanders into a boxing gym and becomes the super middleweight champion of the world. This guy is phenomenal. His fights with Arthur Abraham, where he broke his jaw early, and when he's punching him, you can see that then Abraham find a way to pull out the fight. Those are wars. And this guy's a warrior. This is the type of story that when you hear it, you're like, you understand why that man became such a good fighter. Edison Miranda. If you don't know it, look it up. And I don't know why there's not a movie about that guy yet either.
Yeah, that'd be great. And that just sounds great.
By the way, real quick, this Mike Tyson, Jamie Foxx thing, it's not going to be a full-length movie anymore. Literally just did a quick bit of research. They're working on like sort of a biopic docuseries. But it won't be a movie. Yeah. And by the way, great suggestions. My brother, of course, again, big fan of the show and obviously huge supporter here. And he's told me about Harry Greb, who went 115-8, only person to beat Gene Tunney. And he was blind. This guy was blind in his right eye, and he was legally blind in his left eye. Could barely see, and was 115-8. He was 47-0 in 1919. Wow.
Jeez. All right.
That should have a movie.
2 honorable mentions I got. One of them's Diego Corrales, just because I like it. Ooh, Arturo Gotti's a great one too. Why didn't they do that movie? Maybe hanging himself. And hey, I'm actually in a movie called Pep about
Yes,
a
you
guy
are.
named Willie Pep, who I may have been the answer to this question if they didn't just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all right, I have an honorable mention too. I got Ian Heinisch, unranked UFC fighter, but he got caught for like he was like smuggling drugs across Europe, like for years before being a fighter. So I figured you could make a movie about that. But for my actual answer to this question, Tyson Fury. To go, he comes up, he beats Klitschko, then goes, retires, falls into depression. I hear him on the Joe Rogan podcast talk about like his depression, just driving in like his Lamborghini, just super like messed up, and like he was on the brink of like just swerving off the road and just ending it, to then come back, have the trilogy with Deontay Wilder. Like that's a movie that needs to be made.
I think it's a great opportunity to explore alcoholism, depression, just weight issues and staying in shape. I think he went through a lot of things that a lot of people go through, and when we go through stuff like that, we feel alone. So being the current heavyweight champion of the world and having experienced all those things, I totally agree with you, Jason. Beautiful movie, and it's time for it. It's like perfect timing in our society for a movie like that.
Yeah, and we're realistic. I think there's so many like different combat sports athletes we can pick. Even like Ngannou, growing up like in like a sand mine or whatever in Cameroon or something, then smuggling himself to Paris.
I love that. That is the like this. That was definitely a
Stipe's
Hollywood
life,
version. Yeah. Stipe's not a full-time UFC fighter. He's a full-time firefighter, part-time UFC fighter, and former
That's
heavyweight
just crazy.
champion. Yeah, of course, I mean, I think we were all avoiding saying Francis Ngannou just because it is a pretty amazing story to grow up in abject poverty, to live on the streets of Paris. He was 26 years old. He wasn't like 15, 17, where he had his whole life ahead of him. So a lot of credit to that guy for overcoming the struggles that he's come, because it's an amazing story, and it is going to end tonight.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's get. Oh, we won't. We'll save that one for them. But let's get into the UFC card. Starting off with the Flyweight Championship.
Saturday night at UFC 270, the main event features a flyweight title fight trilogy between Brandon Moreno and Davison Figuerado. Let's break it down. Davison Figuerado is 34 years old. He's 5'5" with a 68-inch reach and a record of 22-1 with 9 knockouts and 8 submissions. From Soré Para, Brazil, the son of a buffalo herder, Figueiredo was introduced to wrestling by his father at age 9 and quickly took an interest in MMA. He made his debut in 2012 with a first-round submission and blew through his first 11 opponents, scoring 10 finishes before making his UFC debut in 2017 with a second-round stoppage of Marco Beltran. In his next fight, he defeated Jared Brooks by decision and followed it up with a second-round knockout of Joseph Morales, dropping in with an uppercut and finishing him with ground and pound. After knocking out John Moraga, he suffered his first loss, getting shut down by Jussifer Formiga in a bloody brawl. He quickly bounced back with a unanimous decision over Alexander Penoya and a guillotine choke of Tim Elliott to set up a fight for the vacant flyweight title against Joseph Benavidez. After an even first round, Figueiredo came on strong in the second, knocking out Benavidez with a brutal right cross. However, since he missed weight, he was ineligible to win the title. 5 months later, the pair met again for the vacant title, with Figueiredo dropping Benavidez in the first round and then submitting him via rear naked choke. 4 months later, he made his first title defense, submitting Alex Perez with a first-round guillotine choke, and then 21 days later took on Brandon Moreno in the fastest turnaround in UFC history. After 5 brutal back-and-forth rounds, the fight was ruled a majority draw after he was deducted a point for a low kick in the 3rd round. On June 12, 2021, he was completely outclassed in the rematch, losing his title to Moreno via rear naked choke. A dangerous counter striker, Deuce DeGuara possesses long arms and an immense power, keeping fighters at a distance with his jab and intercepting his opponent's shots with a long right cross or left hook. A black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he is also an excellent grappler who prefers to employ the guillotine choke to submit his opponents. Brandon Moreno is 28 years old. He's 5'7", with a 70-inch reach and a record of 19-5-2 with 3 knockouts and 11 submissions. From Tijuana, Mexico, Moreno first took up MMA at the age of 12 as a way to lose weight, and by 18 decided that he wanted to make a career out of it. He turned pro in April of 2011, winning by first-round submission, but then lost 3 of his next 5 fights. In 2014, he made his debut in the World Fighting Federation, and in his second fight for the promotion, he won the vacant flyweight belt with a first-round submission of C.J. Sullivan via rear naked choke. He defended the belt 3 times and then joined season 25 of The Ultimate Fighter. In the opening stage of the show, he lost to Alexander Pedroia by rear naked choke in his UFC debut this same year, submitting Louis Smolka with a guillotine choke in round 1. He followed that up with a decision over Ryan Benoit and a rear naked choke of Dustin Ortiz, but then dropped 2 straight decisions to Sergio Pettis and Alexander Pedroia. He bounced back the following year, knocking out LFA flyweight champion Miguel Perez with a vicious ground and pound, and then took on Askar Askarov in a close fight that ended in a draw. He finished out 2019 with a solid win over Kai France, and then dominated the dangerous Jussifer Formiga. Next up, he took on fellow top prospect Brandon Royval, dominating him on the ground and then stopping him with a barrage of hammer fists. On December 12, 2020, he challenged champion Davison Figuerado in what turned out to be a grueling back-and-forth slugfest. After 5 hotly contested rounds, the fight was ruled a draw. In the rematch 6 months later, he put on a dominant display, taking the fight to Figueredo and finally winning the title via 3rd round rear naked choke. A dangerous pressure fighter, Moreno likes to utilize a solid jab and left uppercut and is excellent at throwing combinations and then going for the double leg takedown. Once on the ground, he really shines, often dominating his opponents with his jiu-jitsu, as attested to by his 11 submissions. Can Figueredo utilize his power and athleticism to show that the rematch was a fluke, or will the baby-faced assassin put on another spirited and gritty performance to prove that he's the best flyweight in the world? Tune in Saturday night to UFC 270, and let's find out.
All right, Joe, who you got?
I believe that Moreno has Figueredo figured out, if you will. You could explain the draw initially. He fought 3 weeks later, so maybe, but it was more of the same in the second fight up until he submitted him. This is a really good matchup for Moreno. I think you're going to see Herb Dean raise Moreno's arm again, and I think you're going to see Figueredo carry him out on his shoulders again.
I agree with you. I think Moreno's going to win.
In what was arguably the weirdest ending I've ever seen post-fight, where the other guy carries that guy out. That was, I believe, because Figueredo was completely humbled and outclassed in that one and dominated by, dude, you don't lift another man up on your shoulders and carry him out of the arena. Like, that means you didn't do good.
So I'm on my own taking Fig here, huh?
Do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wanted to, but I don't think so.
It was a good fight. I love these guys. I mean, I'm a fight fan. This is good fights.
Yeah, I will say Figueredo, I think he needs to be more like explosive. But the thing is Moreno really won the stand-up in that second fight with that jab. He he sat Figueredo down in that first round. And then just staying behind that jab, that's what made Figueredo start to try wrestling. And then Moreno just got his back. So, like, I don't see unless Fig can find something explosive, throw maybe a submission out of nowhere or something crazy unless something like that happens, I think Moreno just has it on lock and he's just dialed in.
Him on the ground is dangerous. He, I think, utilizes his jiu-jitsu better than anybody else in this sport. And I thought a few fights ago that Figuerado was actually one of the better guys at doing that. But you know, the way he tries to prevent takedowns and do the gi, you could easily pop out of that, and a good Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist like Moreno is going to do it. He spars with Valentina Shevchenko, who is a much more well-rounded athlete than is Figueredo. So you saw the work pay off in the second fight, and I really do think that this third fight is going to be more of the same.
He's just a touch more explosive. I agree that Moreno's got his number. But just like Jay said, great take. This guy's a little bit more explosive and something crazy could happen. And I'm betting on it.
I want to take Figueredo, and I haven't bet yet for tonight, Jared. I don't know. I'm saying this now on the show. I may tell you next week if Figueredo wins that I put my money on Figueredo. But I do think it's close, but yeah, I don't know. It's just something tells me that Moreno's going to choke him out again or submit him again. Going to be a dogfight. Going to be a great fight either way. This whole card is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm excited. You got the little guys and the big guys. Let's get into the big guys and who will be fighting for the baddest man on the planet. Ngannou.
The first pay-per-view of the year, UFC 270 live from the Honda Center in Anaheim, features a heavyweight title between the undisputed champion Francis Ngannou and interim holder Ciryl Gane. Let's break it down. Ciryl Gane is 31 years old. He's 6'5" with an 81-inch reach and a record of 10-0 with 4 knockouts and 3 submissions. From La Roche-sur-Yon, France, Gane got into martial arts in his early 20s, making his professional kickboxing debut in 2016, winning the AFMT Muay Thai heavyweight title with a second-round knockout of Jeremy Jean. He defended his title 6 times, winning 4 by knockout before switching to MMA in 2018, winning his debut with a first-round front choke of Bobby Sullivan for the Canadian promotion TKO's heavyweight championship. He defended it twice with a second-round knockout of Adam Daischke and a first-round stoppage of Roger Sousa. In August of 2019, he made his UFC debut with a first-round triangle choke of Rafael Pessoa, and 2 months later submitted Dontel Mays with a heel hook. He closed out the year with a unanimous decision over Tanner Boser. He returned in 2020, taking on UFC legend Junior Dos Santos, and despite the disparity in experience, he put on a dominant performance, forcing Dos Santos against the cage, dropping him with an elbow and stopping him with ground and pound. 2 months later, he took on Jairzinho Rosenstruik, controlling the distance with his jab and leg kicks and dominating the grappling exchanges to win a lopsided decision. In June of 2021, he put on an excellent display, dominating Alexander Volkov with his jab, speed, and footwork to secure the decision. And in August, followed that up with a third-round knockout of Derek Lewis to capture the UFC interim heavyweight title. A natural athlete, Gane is a proficient technical striker who excels at controlling the distance and using a combination of speed and footwork to dictate the pace. Francis the Predator Ngannou was 35 years old. He's 6'4" with an 83-inch reach and a record of 18-3 with 12 knockouts. Growing up in abject poverty, he worked in a sand quarry and took up boxing at the age of 22. Moving to France at age 26 to pursue a career in MMA, he slept in the streets of Paris until he made enough money to support himself. He turned pro in Europe in 2013 and made his UFC debut in 2015 via second-round knockout. In his next fight, he stopped Curtis Blades, gaining the attention of Dana White, was heavily promoted and quickly stepped up in competition, scoring a Kimura over Anthony Hamilton, a fast KO over Andrei Arlovsky, and a wild uppercut knockout of Alistair Overeem. In his first shot at the title, he was thoroughly beaten down and outclassed by champion Stipe Miocic, and still reeling from the psychological effects of that loss, he dropped a unanimous decision to Derek Lewis in a tentative match, widely regarded as one of the worst fights in UFC history. He came back 5 months later, going on an impressive run that saw him dispatch his next 4 opponents in under 3 minutes, including a 45-second knockout of Curtis Blades, a 26-second knockout of Cain Velasquez, a 1-minute blitz of Junior Dos Santos, and a wild 20-second bludgeoning of Jairzinho Rosenstruik. On March 27, 2021, he challenged Stipe Miocic again for the title, this time under the tutelage of welterweight champion Kamaru Usman, coming in better prepared for Stipe's grappling, and early in the second round, scored a devastating knockout to become the new heavyweight champion. Can Ngannou stop his former training partner with his thunderous one-punch knockout power to unify the title? Or will Gan's speed and technique carry the day as he continues one of the most meteoric rises in UFC history? Tune in Saturday night to UFC 270, and let's find.
Gan's great. Gan is great. I'm not gonna say anything, but in Gan, this I think is a featherweight situation we have here. I think Gan can beat anyone, but Francis Ngannou is just a superhuman. I just don't think anyone can touch him. I think the thing with Gan is he takes time to attack you and get you. It takes him time. Ngannou, you don't have a lot of time because if he just touches you once, you're going night. And Gan, I think if he can tear up Ngannou's legs, maybe utilize those kicks, keep him at bay. But I still think Ngannou's long. I still think he gets in there and he lands something and puts. This is a different Ngannou. Ever since the first Stipe fight, ever since the Derek Lewis fight, we've seen a different Ngannou. He out-wrestled Stipe in that rematch.
Stop saying that. He didn't out-wrestle him. He stuffed him once. And took his back. Calm down.
And then landed
Calm down. Don't overhype what Ngannou did.
I think Ngannou is just different. He is on another level than everyone else right now in the heavyweight division. Jared, I'm going to let you talk about your boy Gan.
Yeah, right from Jump Street in this show, I told you about this guy, Cyril Gan. He's one of my fantastic five. Alexander Usyk already cleaned house and did his job. And here we are 2+ years in, and I get the second one of these. I said this would be the next guy. By the way, how many title defenses does Francis Ngannou have?
None.
Because when this started, I said Gan would be the next guy with 3. This could be 3 or 4 title defenses, and he's the next heavyweight that's actually going to hold the belt for a few fights. This is where he gets it. And then he's got 3 or 4 wins coming up before somebody comes along and touches him. And it's what I said in 19, and that's what I'm saying now. Cyril Gan, all day. He's the more technically sound fighter of the two.
You want to hear what I think?
Yeah.
I don't like one-trick ponies. I don't think Ngannou has enough weapons in this fight. Gan is too fast. He's too strong. He does things other heavyweights can't do, like throw flying knees. We know Ngannou's got the lights out power. You can't make a mistake against him, but good for Cyril Gan. He's been absolutely perfect since he's been in MMA. Okay? So he's not going to get exposed. He has a very high ring IQ, a much higher ring IQ than Francis Ngannou does. So this thing gets stopped in the 4th round with Gan beating the bejesus out of him. Because, and here's the thing, I'm sure he's been jogging in Portugal or wherever you want him to be jogging. Cardio's going to be an issue for Ngannou if he can't end this fight in 2 rounds. And this is not the kind of guy that you're going to put down and knock out. So
why is cardio
difficult fight for Ngannou? Yeah, this fight's not gonna last long, buddy.
I know.
I mean, this fight
Ngannou's going to put his lights out.
Stop it. This fight's going 4 rounds. I promise you. This fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ngannou can go that long.
No,
Like,
Ngannou can't
yes,
go
he
that
can.
long. No, he's going to
the
be
first
getting.
fight with Stipe.
Dude,
He looked
terrible in that fight. What are you talking about?
He was still
Dude,
throwing at the end.
He was still throwing his one punch, and did it
I
land?
know.
Yes, like 3 times. And did he do anything to Stipe at that point in the fight? No. Why? Because he was gassed.
Yeah, but he's not going to get wrestled like that in those first couple rounds. He's got
Dude,
a tank. He's got the gas tank.
It's hard to hit.
But it doesn't.
He's hard to fight. He's going to mix in some takedowns. And we'll see what a great wrestler Ngannou is, because he stuffed Stipe once and took his back. That's all the wrestling we've ever seen from the new and improved Ngannou, who is still a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I mean, if it's working, it's going to continue to work. Ngannou, this dude hits like a car. He's got the highest recorded power of a punch scientifically. So he's just different. He's just built different. I think he puts him to sleep. Like he's just different. Like I said, it's like a Volkanovski Holloway situation. I think Cyril Gane is the best other heavyweight, but Ngannou is just different.
I still think Stipe's better than Ngannou. So your argument is out the window. And I think if John Jones ever shows up, I'd love to see that fight too. I don't think you could do the distance between these guys is nowhere near the distance in any of the other divisions. This is very, very close. Again, he's split with Stipe. Why that's not a fight again is still beyond me. Why we're getting everybody else in the mix except for the guy that reigned the division for 4 years. I don't get it.
He's
but
only
whatever.
a part-time fighter. He's got to fight fires.
Well, he does.
Twice,
Yeah. Firefighting's important.
I'm not gonna find it.
But I'm regardless, I'm excited.
Dude, it doesn't exist. Who's the last UFC heavyweight to win 4 fights with the belt? Defend it 4 times.
No,
Nobody.
Stipe has the record.
Stipe with 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one.
Yeah. Cyril Gane will at least tie that record.
Ngannou's going to break it.
Is what I said. Here we go.
Ngannou's going to break
Ready, set, go.
Riley just pointed out a great point here. I mean, he fought and took on Lewis's power. No sweat. He got hit.
Yeah,
Cyril Gane's a monster, dude. I'm telling you. And Ngannou's great. And I've never picked him in a fight ever. And I'm still not going to do it.
All right. But, okay. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, Rosenstruck. Dos
Yeah.
Santos, Volkov, Derek Lewis, these guys can punch a little bit. I'm not going out to say that they're Ngannou, but just that he's like Ali had a way of rolling punches and being sound enough, the game of inches, you know. I'm not sure you can hit Gane the way you want to get him gone.
Hold on. But
good.
Mediocre.
Those two fights.
Jace, here's what we need to let's discuss this
What?
for a second.
Okay.
Why don't we just put this out there?
Okay.
Because it means a lot to you. You love Francis Ngannou. Say it.
I do.
All right.
I love Francis Ngannou. Yeah.
He's speaking emotionally here, everybody. So,
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Jace, when Gane wins, I'm
It's
going to talk so
different.
much crap and I listen. I don't want anyone when Gane wins. I want everyone to leave Jace alone tonight. I don't want anyone antagonizing him.
Why
Because
is
right now
Ngannou so disrespected?
he's speaking from the heart, and I love that. I
He
really
had
do.
2 bad fights, and everyone thinks Ngannou is nothing. He's the baddest man on
against
planet.
anybody else out there. I'd be picking Ngannou if he was fighting someone besides the best guy in the heavyweight division.
But
Yes.
but would you pick him in the against Stipe again? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
You
I
would?
wouldn't.
Okay.
I might.
He
See,
might. I
it's-
wouldn't. But no. Name some other
This is-
people.
Father
if he
Time
fights-
is
but-
undefeated.
You want him to fight Dos Santos again? Yeah, he wins that one. No sweat. Rosenstrike, yeah, blow him out. Volkanov, yeah. Volkov, whatever, yeah. Gone, yes.
I think
There's
the
some
best-
guys, though, that are skilled.
Yeah.
Stipe's ability to take it to the ground and his boxing skill are like elite level. That's why he's so good at this.
Yeah. And
Your boy Ngannou throws a big right hand. There's not much else going on, dude. You're talking about in Cyril Gane, a heavyweight, the likes of which we've never seen before. The way this guy moves and strikes, he's
and we're talking about
so
power
again
we've never seen before.
Dude, Gane can knock people out too. Gane can knock Ngannou out.
Time. It takes like 3 rounds. Look at how long Derek Lewis lasted.
Right.
Because he's safe. No windows. I talk about this all the time. There are windows where you can get knocked out. The more hey, you know who did a really good job of slamming windows shut? Even though he wasn't being competitive or doing anything but surviving, he didn't open any windows for himself to get hurt. Guy named Jafard. He just fought Joe Smith in a boxing ring. And he didn't get beat down for 9 rounds because he kept all the windows shut. And that's with Cyril Gane. If you're going to hit Gane with a good punch, you're going to have he's going to make it a fraction of an opportunity to land it of what some other fighters do. Justin Gaethje, he just opens the window like, come on in. If you touch me, that means you're close enough to hit. Gane's not like that. And he's not, Loma's a slow starter. Knock it off. He's playing chess and not checkers. And that's what's going on. These are 2 guys playing chess and checkers.
This is hilarious. Outside of Stipe and Ngannou beats everyone. Well,
Agreed.
Except for Lewis,
Totally
who
agree.
beat him. So, no. I mean, again, yeah.
He
already saw
7
that
out of
fight.
10 of those he wins, though. He beats Lewis.
Maybe, but I actually saw that fight happen. It was god-awful, and he lost it. So, tough to say.
Fair. That's
And
fair.
yes, with Stipe, it's close. I'm not saying Stipe would blow him out. We are 1-1 in that one. We definitely need to see a third fight, but we should put it in an adult-sized ring. I think that's going to really be key to that fight. Yeah, and Ngannou's just going to knock out Lewis. This is Jace's dream scenario. 2 big dumb oafs just coming out, throwing right hands and pawing with their left.
No.
That's you. You're like, man, let's go. Because it's the video game. It's stand in the pocket and just punch until somebody goes down. That's not how winners fight. That's not how Alexander the Great fight. That's not how Max fights. That's not how Adesanya
Ali.
fights. That's not
Ali
how.
didn't fight like that.
I mean, dude, anybody who comes running in with their face, we've seen it how many times. You run in with your Stipe beat Verdun. How did Verdun do it? Chasing him around the ring with his chin out. Stipe stopped and was like, boop. Thanks for the belt, you clown.
That's what you're getting.
You can't charge in at people. Well, you can charge in at some people. Look what Joe Smith did the other night.
Chikadze.
Right. If you
Charge
charge
him.
in on the wrong guy, an elite guy, you're done.
Mm.
So
And
here's
this
the other
is
thing
an
about
Ali, Loma
hold on.
type
Here's
of
the other thing
striker.
about Francis Ngannou, and here's why this is a real problem, because we keep hearing about he's so patient now. Well, we saw him be patient in one fight for 1 round. So let's see what happens when he gets frustrated in this Gane fight, and he goes charging in, and he regrets it. Jace, he's going to be the fool that walks into a power punch, not the other way around. And we don't watch heavyweights fight like this. This guy fights like a welterweight. That's insane. He's fluid, and he's not going to get punched. He's not going to charge in at the legs like Curtis Blades and get popped. It's not going to happen.
You don't hear me make a lot of Ali comparisons, but that's what we're seeing here. James Toney, Chris Bird, Loma, Ali, guys whose technique is heads and shoulders above everybody else. That's what you're seeing with Cyril Gane. Could he get knocked out? Yeah, but those are small windows, and he's going to be better at that size at fighting than anybody he ends up in the ring with.
I like this point.
The fight will determine whether Gon got lucky. He didn't get lucky. We really made the adjustments he needed to make. I think this.
No, you're right. He got the benefit of a really tiny ring.
Sure, whatever. Go ahead. But
I
think this is going to be.
Hold on. No. You're not going to ignore my point. You're not going to ignore the point I just made.
But they both signed the contract. They both signed the contract.
It was in the contract. They didn't want to fight the baby ring. He just wanted to get a fight in, and they were holding out.
Okay.
This was Dana's dream, was to make Jace cream in his shorts. Watching these two guys, we'll just make them stand there, rock them, sock them, robot, and see whose head gets popped off first. Not interested in that. I want to watch two athletes go at it.
Listen to me.
Your guy's not an athlete.
Listen to me. That's not true.
Where you this can't end the game on an offensive penalty and they all just held. That's Jace's favorite football play of all time. All the guys just chucking the other team around.
No, this is Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. This fight. You got that more skilled guy. You got the knockout power. But the thing here is,
Wilder lost all those fights. What are you talking about?
Would you listen to me?
My point.
I'm trying to make my point.
I win.
I'm trying to make my point.
I win.
But the thing is Deontay Wilder, you want to know why he beats everyone else not named Tyson Fury? It doesn't matter how skilled they are. It's because of the length. When you have that length mixed with that knockout power, you have to get in to land something. And when you get in, you have to get past my punch if you're an Ngannou or Deontay Wilder.
But this isn't boxing, so he doesn't have to engage with his fists.
Yes, that's why I said the kicks. That's why I said earlier the kicks will be the problem. But that's why I said earlier when I was talking about the fight that Gon would win with the kicks. The leg kicks, tear up that leg kick. Maybe land something up top. That would be. But I think he's going to try and get in, and I think Ngannou's going to land something when Gon's trying to get in. And
by land something, do you mean an overhand right or an uppercut right? Because it'll be one or the other. It'll have been set up poorly by a lefty's, like a pawing jab, probably, right?
If he's got a pilot's license, maybe he'll land something. But other than that, he's in trouble tonight.
I don't know. I think regardless, both of these just messed up Gon is Fury.
Yeah, he lost.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Points.
Yes, the story Jace just told did not make my point, and I appreciate that very much.
It's the length. That's the issue. That's why Ngannou has the length. So you have to get past that to get in to land something. So I think Ngannou when you have that length, it also helps coming in. So I think Ngannou will land. Ngannou's going to win. Listen, we can go circles, go back and forth for hours on this. And I'm going to be right just like I was with Stipe.
You made my point with the one thing you brought up. You literally made my point.
I know, but I also Ngannou's going to win. Let's go. Fight of the night. Let's go. It's a great card, but what other great fights?
I might put my money on Ngannou, to be honest, tonight.
Fight of the night, Cyril Gane, because he's better.
Dude, the fight of the night is very, very clear tonight. The best fight on this card tonight. Michel Pereira back in action. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. He's fighting Andre Fiallo, a guy who comes from Bellator, has made quite a name for himself in the welterweight division. If Pereira wins the fight, he's going to get somebody in the top 5. If he loses, he's probably out of the UFC forever. And Fiallo, I think you'll see this guy will be in contention pretty quickly in the UFC, and it might start with a win over my boy.
All right.
But get ready for some high-flying capoeira moves tonight. It's going to be dope.
Yeah.
You know, mostly it'll be off the cage, not when the guy's even anywhere near him, but I love when he does it.
Yeah, but all right, Jared, what you got?
Jack Maddalena and Pete Rodriguez will be a great fight. Somebody's getting knocked out there. Take the under. Outside of that, I agree with Joe. I think this Pereira fight's a great fight. Again, you take Pereira in the under. That one's going to be closer though, a little bit closer.
We need
Not
some
a
new
lot
blood
of
in that.
To be fair, outside of the fights we covered, there's not a lot of great stuff here. There's not a lot of. Usually, my fight of the night are boxing. I have no puncher's chance because there's just nothing there. The closest fight is minus 400. Gary Russell Jr. Be careful with that fight. The puncher's chance was almost to go against him. This other kid can really bang that he's fighting, and I've seen holes in Russell Jr.'s game. Mark Mexio is the guy's name. Mexio, yeah. I'm not saying fake Mexio. I'm saying be careful with Russell Jr. Be careful with that fight. There's not much here. Cyril Gane and Ngannou is the one to sit down for. Fig's going to put up a fight. But if you only watch one fight today, watch that heavyweight main event in the UFC. Cyril Gane has something that nobody else in the game has.
Yeah, Jared, you mentioned it. My fight of the night, Gary Russell Jr. versus Mark Mexio on Showtime. But
It's been a while for Gary Russell Jr.
It has. It has.
This is like his 5th title defense of his 10-year reign as the champion.
Longest reigning champ in boxing right now. But
it's been like 400 or 500 days, I think, right, since his last fight.
Yeah.
It's a good way to hold on to your belt.
Yeah. But
just don't come out and play.
Yeah, but it should be a great. But even that, it's my fight of the night. But that's a watch Sunday morning type thing because my eyes are going to be glued to this UFC card because it's going to be fun. The featherweights, the heavyweights. I love heavyweights, and Ngannou's going to win. Ngannou's going to beat Gane. But that's going to do it for the fights.
You know what? Since you can't stop saying it, now I am going to ask everybody watching and people who might watch this later that when Gane beats Ngannou, please, I'd like you to assault Jace verbally.
Do it.
With the best you've got. Yeah, let's give it to him because he deserves it.
Do it. Let's go.
And we'll make it handy for you. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube, Facebook. Yeah, right? Twitter, There's pages everywhere. Twitter. You could find us right at Throwing Jabs. And just let Jace know your thoughts.
Yeah.
I'd love everyone to just unload.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I made it to Sean Watson joke on this show.
Jeez, what the heck? But let's around this time last year, Ngannou knocked out Stipe, and I just went through and liked everything talking about. I'm gonna do that again. Anything in the comments right now, pro Gane, be prepared. 3 a.m. tomorrow. I'm gonna be liking it when Ngannou wins. You'll get that notification right after. But because we've been here before. We've been here before, and I came out victorious, and so did Ngannou. Gane's just ain't gonna do it. I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. This card is gonna be fun. This show's been fun. For myself, Big Jace, Joe Guy, and Jared Jones. That's gonna do it for Throwing Jabs, a CMG sports podcast. Make sure you check out clovercrestmedia.com for a bunch of other podcasts. And if you don't find one you particularly like, start your own. CMG Sports Podcast. ClovercrestMedia.com. Enjoy the fights tonight, and we'll see you next week for more Throwing Jabs. Take care.
Throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clovercrest, top 3 corner man, punching in with a puncher's chance. We find a way to win. The main event, locked it in every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut, got you missing weight, feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move, bob and weave. Don't lose hope against the ropes, there's always an escape. Never stay down. One more round, bells ringing, counter punch with your chin tucked and go down swinging. We bringing crosses with no worship, hooks with no verses, combinations with no locks. When you feel the flurry, it's curtains. From scrub scraps to fight stats, relax if you want the facts, cause the best combat podcast is Throwing Jabs.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.